Uh, Good morning. This is my third video, third time this morning I'm trying to shoot this video. I've already done this like 3 times thinking that this was recording and it wasn't. So I'm gonna do this one more time. But hey cyber people, so I started making these daily videos. I'm trying to do one in the morning, one in the evening. And I'm just trying to go through, I know this is going to be a real special time. God's going to do something amazing and incredible, and he hasn't done it yet, but I know it's like really close. So I feel led to video it and put it on YouTube. I want other people to see this blessing happen in real time. About a year ago, if you look on the channel, there's a video that I did about a year ago called 7289 Full Documentary. And it's a testimony about how the Lord saved my house from foreclosure. And I had to really kind of go right on the surface of everything for that video, because the video was already like 20 minutes long. And I didn't want the video to get, it would have been an hour long if I would have, gave all the details. But one of the things that I mentioned in the video that I just mentioned quickly was that I had cashed in my 401k and we did upgrades to the house, and we had about $10,000 left over, and God had told me to give it away. Before that, I knew that the Lord was telling me to give it away. He had already told me who the couple was that I was supposed to give the money to, but I didn't know how much. But the Lord also told me that I knew that if I would be completely faithful on what he told me to do, that he would set me debt free, and this house would not only be saved, but that we would pay this house off. And so but I didn't know how much, and so I kept asking the Lord, well, how much, how do you want me to do this? And that evening in bed, I saw myself making coffee, and I was getting ready to pour me a cup of coffee. And as I poured the cup of coffee and started to put the pot back into the coffee maker, there was drips on the counter. And I knew each drip represented $1,000. And, and I thought, okay, is that how you want me to, is that how you want me to figure out the amount? And it woke me up in the middle of the night. I mean, I remember it was pretty strong. So I went ahead, I went back to sleep. First thing that comes to my mind as soon as I get up that morning is what the Lord had showed me. So I come downstairs. I don't know, I can't. Okay. So I come downstairs and I'm making myself a pot of coffee, and it gets done perking, and I go to make me a cup of coffee, and the whole time I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't want to drip nothing, so I don't want to drip too much, right? And so I pour the coffee into the cup, and sure enough, man, boom, 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 bunch of drips on not a bunch, but several, large ones. And I counted it up, and I was like, ooh, that's a lot of drips, So it's stirring in my spirit, is this really right? Because you start questioning, is that really right? So I go to the other room to do something, and I kind of feel the Spirit asking me, are you sure that's all the drips? And I was like, yeah, that's all of them. So I come back into the kitchen because I hadn't cleaned it up. It was still on the counter. And I look at it again, and sure enough, there's these big drips, and then there's these little bitty drips, these little pinhead drips on the counter. And I was like, Lord, I gotta count those too? Yeah, I was supposed to count those too. So I was like, whoa, that's going to take just about everything, you know? And I knew that that's where the Lord wanted to get me to. He wanted me back into a place of complete trust in Him, that He was going to save our house, and He was going to, and I knew that if I did everything to the letter that He wanted me to do, that somehow, some way, He was going to set us debt free. Now, I want to make this really clear. I do not believe that, and I didn't believe at the time that all this happened, that if you do good, you get good. If you do bad, you get bad. That is not biblical at all. We don't deserve heaven at all. We get it by grace, and it's by grace we are saved. And it's not by works at all. So I do not want to come across that you can make deals with God, because that's not the case at all. The Lord was trying to show me that, number one, I needed to be completely dependent upon Him, and basically I needed to be completely dependent upon Him, and if I would follow what He wanted me to do to the letter,